And we're going to stop it. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Go home to your mom, darling. Go home. Get him out of here. Out.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Developing Dad podcast. We are live, going live real quick today. It was a short notice. Y'all know I have a real job, so I have other things to do that are more important, right? But I didn't want to not come on and give you guys some content today. So I'm actually figuring out some things, putting some things in order, getting the tags in so that we can so that we can do this thing. All right. Thank you to everybody that's tuning in. If you come on the way in, if you could like the video, thank you. That'll help to get the engagement up. I appreciate you all for doing that for me. All right. We were trying to go live on Rumble, but Rumble had some problems. So we'll see. There was some errors starting. But look at this previous video from Duluth, Minnesota, right? That's what it says. Yeah, Duluth, Minnesota, where Trump is not feeling. Yes. All right. Thank you, Roger Dodger. All right. Appreciate you for tuning in. So you see, Trump didn't like the guy having a picture of he and Epstein together. And so he throws the guy out of the rally, right? You're in the midst of your base and everything's going well. And, the guy came in and, get him out of here, right? Get him out of here. You can throw him out. Okay. But we're going to talk about this because there's still more information coming out. People are digging up more and more clips. We're having more interviews happening. Thank you, Donna Wilkinson. Thank you. Hello, great Khan. Hello. Appreciate you. Right? Khan is one of my favorite television characters from King of the Hill. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that show, but I really like that show. Okay. All right. But thank you to everybody that's tuning in. We're going to be on for about an hour and a half. Yeah, we'll be. Yes. So let's talk about some of these things that have been unearthed. Okay. What's going on, Wilfredo Zalea? All right. I have no idea if Trump's in the Diddy. Yes. Right. I have no idea if he's in the Diddy files. Yes. All right. Mr. Khan. Right. That's when Hank's dad met him. Right? He's Laotian. All right. So interview number one. Now these interviews are going to be a little bit long, so we might not listen to all of it, but let's listen in. We've got some interviews coming from CNN. You know what? I don't care where the source is, as long as it's truth. I want to hear it, and I want us to figure out whether or not this fits in with the prevailing narrative. Can it help us to uncover more of the story and figure out where we land on this? I still believe that it's a cover up. I'm not 100% certain as to whether or not Donald Trump can be implicated as one of the clients, but we're going to keep listening, keep our ears to the streets, right? And whatever comes out, we're just going to talk about it, right? Because it's really important that we get to the bottom of this, because our entire government seems to be compromised, right? So, I mean, at this point, we're just trying to figure out who, everybody seems like
You're a liar. You're a liar.
Right? They're lying about this thing, okay? Now, I do believe that a lot of very, very powerful people are in that list or have been clients or were being blackmailed because of their deeds at the island. I think no one would surprise me if they're in the list. All right, so let's listen in.
Trump groped you in front of Epstein. I do want to note that CNN has spoken to 3 friends of yours who confirmed that you told them about this alleged incident over past decades. Can you tell me more about what happened that day, and particularly how Trump and Epstein interacted?
Yeah, before I get into the details of what happened, which, obviously I told you guys and I've shared with multiple outlets, the specifics of the assault that happened, I want to point out that I was polygraphed before I did all this by one of the most renowned examiners in the world. Michael Wolff has hundreds of hours of interviews with Jeffrey Epstein where Jeffrey confirmed to Michael what the 2 of them did to me long before I came out and told you all of this. So those are 2 critical data points that you need to have, and now I'll walk you through what happened. I was dating Jeffrey. He was always talking about Donald. It was his bestie and everything, and he was joking about how Donald thought I was hot, and Donald thinks I'm this or whatever, wants to talk to you. And he was telling me this as we were taking a walk down Fifth Avenue one day. And he said, let's stop in and see him at his offices. So we went up to his office in Trump Tower, and within a couple of minutes, Donald was outside of his door, and his hands were all over me. They were on my breasts, they were on my butt, they were on, my hips, up and down, while the 2 of them just kept having a normal conversation. I don't remember exactly what was in the conversation. Again, this was, we're talking 90, this is 93 now. It was something about, it was irrelevant. It was like, oh, Stacey's career's on fire. She just did Sports Illustrated again, blah, 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 blah. And they were back and forth, smiling and grinning and carrying on a conversation while Donald ran his hands all over me. And, when that happens in broad daylight in someone's office and an assistant's walking back and forth, you're in shock. If it happens in a dark alleyway, right, you defend yourself. But when it's hidden in its brazenness like that, which is Donald Trump's forte, you go into shock. So I froze, and it was over very quickly. It was a few minutes, and then we got back in the elevator, and Jeffrey's energy had changed. He was like seething. He was enraged. He wouldn't make eye contact with me. And then we got out on the street on Fifth Avenue. And he looked at me and he just started yelling at me, saying, why did you let him do that? And he was so enraged. And then I remember thinking, like, why did I? I felt like I was coming back into my body at that moment. And I was confused.
Look, so again, do we believe her story? Says that she passed a polygraph and Epstein confirmed that it happened. I'm doing well. Let me say hello to everybody that's tuning in. All right, we've got, let's see, I'm going back to up to the top. Mike Anderson, welcome. Todd C, Song Sword 87, welcome. Todd C again. All right, AN, welcome. Okay. Steve Lowe, welcome in. All right, Melissa Kennedy, let me know where you all are coming from. Joe Padilla, LC, Rick D, Johnny 5, Skylar Starr. Thank you to Michael Whitworth, Frosty. Thank you to everybody that's tuning in. Tier 1 gear and EDC reviews. Okay. Now, whether you believe this woman or not, they say she passed a polygraph test. This Fayetteville. All right, Leslie Wilkins, thank you. Here from Vegas, thank you. All right, she sounds fishy. Okay, yeah, so we're just going to listen to these texts. Yeah, I don't know. This really, to me, I want to listen to all the sides and hear what they have to say, and then we make our own determination based on the evidence. I want to go wherever the evidence leads. Okay, and I know polygraphs are not. You can fake a polygraph. You can fool a polygraph. I know it's not a perfect test to see whether or not somebody's lying. People with I guess stone cold emotions can trick a polygraph, right? But she was willing to take one that lends some credence to the fact that she was willing to be tested. Okay. Now, do I think that this necessitates or this confirms that Donald Trump's in the Epstein files? Absolutely not. No, I don't think that. But I think we can establish a pattern that, certain things that Trump did when he was a billionaire mogul. We've heard about this. We all know that men of means and power and stature they generally aren't used to being told no. They get away with things that the rest of us can't even imagine. You'd have to have, what do the kids call it these days? Outstanding riz to be able to get away with some of the stuff that a billionaire like Donald Trump could get away with in his heyday, right? This is, so again, they don't live normal lives. What's the famous tweet? Oh, George Carlin, right? The famous quote. Yeah, it's a big club, and we're not in it. We're not invited. We don't get those kinds of invites to this party. I don't live in that. I don't live in that world, that bubble, right? I've got one wife, and to be honest, I don't even know if any other woman likes me like that, because I don't care. It's been 15, almost 16 years that my wife and I have been together. I don't know. So I don't even consider that type of world, but I do know that it exists. I hear enough stories to recognize that men of power, men of means, they get access to women that I couldn't even dream of. So I'm when I hear a story like this, I'm not surprised, right? And that Donald Trump, if he did it, not surprised. This is, yeah, the Diddy case. Women are attracted to power. Women of low morals and low virtue are specifically attracted to powerful men and are willing to do pretty much whatever they ask them to do to stay connected to that power, right? And just so you know, like, all right, so some people are asking, this is, I'll post this. This will be a little bit of, before we go to the next interview, right? For some of you, it may be odd to hear that a man doesn't go around gooning, right? Okay. That men don't just, like, there are men who actually don't go around gooning all the time, right? That's not a normal practice, specifically for Christian men, right? Like, you don't have this situation. One of the best things, this was one of the saddest things I saw on the internet, right? Men gooning over a 66-year-old Angela Bassett. Like, the gooning in the comments, right? This woman is retirement age. Gooning over women, meaning spending their time fantasizing, lusting over women who are, she's well past her prime. This is like, what would you want with a 67-year-old Angela Bassett? Christian men, we're like those who are following Jesus. We actually don't spend our time gooning, simping, gooning. Well, look, here it is. Just okay. Yeah. Yes, I am judgmental based on you all's right. Let's see. What is this? I don't want to make a mug out of it. The Urban Dictionary has a store. Man, you got to make your money however you can, right? Okay. What's that? Yes. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. It's one of these in here. I've seen it before. Anyway. More random definitions, right? What's going on, brother Anthony Allen? Exactly. Right? Gooning it up. Maybe because I'm not up on my slang, guys. I may be wrong, right? Oh yeah. Yes, I am grifting. Yes, I'm grifting. I appreciate you for recognizing that.
I just want some money.
I appreciate you recognizing it and helping me out. I appreciate you helping me out with the comments and the engagement. Keep it up, man. Keep it up. Right? It's people like you that are helping this channel go from, I went from almost 4,000 subscribers, man. Keep it up. Keep it up. Yeah, judgment. Yeah, we're all judgmentalists. So what's going on, brother Derek Franklin? Yeah. Yes. Right? She's past the prime. So a 67-year-old woman, what is a woman's prime, right? Y'all, this is absolutely insane. Now we got people defending that a woman is in her prime in her 60s. This woman is a grandma, right? Yeah. Grandmother. Yes, grandmother. Oh, I know. everybody is, yeah. Everybody wants me to I guess somebody's, yeah. Now, so let me answer this one and then I'll move on. So this person asks why you ignore any comments that aren't in support. I just put one up prior to that wasn't in support. Shouldn't you create more discussion? The discussion happens in the comments. I have a show rundown. You all can actually discuss things in the comments. I have members and moderators who actually do the discussion. I'm not here to talk to you specifically. I'm here to have a discussion in general and have people talk about it. If you really want this is the last one. So if you really want your comment to be displayed on the screen, you want me to interact with it, put some money on it, right? Super chat. I'm just telling you, like, I have a show rundown right here. Boom. These are the things that I want to talk about within an hour and a half. That's what we're going to do. You don't run my show. I do. All right. So here we go. I just had to let that be known just in case some of you didn't know that if you're here. Right. OK. Now, the first, let's keep moving. Now, this is part of the problem, too, is that we see all of this proximity to not just these past videos with Trump, but all the proximity to Epstein people. Yeah. Right. OK, this is Howard Lutnick. Right. We talked about him earlier, who's Trump's Secretary of Commerce. He bought a home from and was neighbors with Jeffrey Epstein. He worked at the World Trade Center and happened to be late to work on 9/11. Right. And then he's also friends with Benjamin Netanyahu. Exactly, brother. I mean, look, that's what you're doing monthly, putting some money on it. I appreciate you. That's why yours get put up here. You, Derek Franklin. Boom. Y'all want to say something? Even if I'm just saying. Right. I'm just saying. Just saying. All right. Now, y'all know me. I voted for Trump. I am in support of 99.9% of the policies that he has enacted so far. I am enjoying most of it, but I also don't want every good thing that he's doing to be undone in the next 4 years after his term is over, 4 to 8 years to 12 years, because the deep state wasn't unearthed, right? He didn't drain the swamp. All of this could be undone. The next, let's say the liberals get into power, they beat J.D. Vance, and then they open the border back up, right? They open the border back up. Then what? Right? Then what? We're back to square one, right? Right? Historical people are complaining, right? I'm gonna post this one up here. This is for you all as you come in and make ignorant statements about black conservatives and black Republicans. I'm not even a Republican, but black people have been conservative and socially conservative for generations, right? This is historical. You display your historical ignorance. This is Frederick Douglass. I'm a Republican, a black, dyed-in-the-wool Republican, and I never intend to belong to any other party than the party of freedom and progress. Okay, now you can shut up. All right, so let's keep moving. Now, this is part of the problem. We've got this deep state that's continuing to expand. Trump is pushing back on them. Even Tulsi Gabbard is saying they're pushing back on her. She's trying to do her work. So they're still in operation. They're still there. Now, if you play games with him or play games with them, then when you're out of office, what happens when they just go back to doing what they do normally, right? Yeah, and then I know everybody's going to say, oh, that's not the same Republicans. Yeah, okay, prove it to us. All right, no. Because even Martin Luther King was a Republican. Yep, exactly, right? They don't like history when history proves them wrong. So then they start making up stuff. Thank you. Appreciate you, Lions. All right, appreciate you. Yes. Now, so they'll open up the border again. They'll tank the economy again. They'll do everything that they were doing previously once Trump is out of office. So, right? All right. Oh, politically independent. Okay, well, according to, all right, there you go. All right. I'm always willing to be corrected, right? Was MLK, right? Hey, there you go. All right. Let's look it up. He didn't endorse one. I don't think the Republic. There you go. All right. Hey, I'm always willing to be corrected. If I say something that is incorrect, I will check it and correct it. Thank you for that new information. I will no longer use that statement. All right. So now it still doesn't negate the fact that Frederick Douglass was. Now, we can keep moving on. Now, this is the next interview. We're getting lots of bits and pieces to this puzzle, where this is another interview, right? We're going to put it at 1.25 speed. So we've got Trump. We're talking about Trump's connections to Epstein, right? Here we go.
Your dad started working with Donald Trump when I think you were 11.
Yes.
And do you remember what you thought of your dad's boss, Donald Trump, and what you thought of his job back then?
As I told Emily, we lived in a Trump-branded building. I remember seeing commercials for The Apprentice on TV, and I knew my dad was working for someone famous, but I think that's the extent of the realization at the time.
So it was cool. I mean, I guess at that time it was cool.
Yeah, for sure.
But at some point, I think well before your dad got ensnared in all of this, your impression changed.
Yes.
And what was that? What happened?
There were a few instances that changed that impression, and they happened over the course of a few years as I got older and as I started to realize how Trump treated my father, one of which is in the book where my dad explains what happened at the golf course.
Let me read that.
Okay, sure.
Because, I mean, I think that this one is illustrative
Yes.
of something. Basically, you were at President Trump's, well, he was just Donald Trump, his country club. And you were playing tennis and you came off the court. And here's how it was written in Vanity Fair. Somehow Trump's attention was diverted to another skirt walking off a tennis court. Quote, "Look at that piece of ass," Cohen recalls Trump saying as he whistled and pointed. Quote, "I would love some of that." It so happened that Trump was referring to Cohen's then 15-year-old daughter, Samantha. Do you remember that moment? Because it goes on to write that after that, you came over, he wanted you to give him a kiss, and he said, "When did you get such a great figure?"
So, as I told Emily, the story is a little bit less clear to me. I'm sure many women can relate. You become desensitized to men making these kinds of comments to you, and you allow them to go over your head and you kind of tune out the noise. But what stood out to me in that moment was he said to my dad, "Well, there's no way that she got her looks from you. Thank God you married a beautiful woman." And I was desensitized to men making creepy comments about me, but I was not desensitized to someone blatantly insulting and degrading my father in front of me, someone who I looked up to and loved very much. And that was very upsetting to me. And that made me think, okay, maybe Trump doesn't treat my father so well.
And I do want to get to that in a moment about the way he treated your father. But first, back to that for a second. He also, I mean, at least in the book, it says that he said to you, "Be careful, I'll be dating your friends in a few years." He was married to Melania at that time when he said that to you. Did you ever get the impression that he was hitting on you?
No, I didn't get the impression that he was hitting on me directly, but I had the impression that he was interested in younger women and that, you know, women would age out for him and that when one woman became too old, you'd find a new younger one.
Now, again, we're just playing the interviews. This is what's going on now. So we've got a lot of now. Here's the problem, right? You play something from Fox News. Liberals say you watch Fox News. You play something from CNN. Like Trump cultists say, "Oh, you're playing something from CNN." As long as it's if it's not Scott Jennings, right? Scott Jennings, when I play something from CNN and Scott Jennings, you know, they're fine with it. I'm on a search for truth. I want to understand the truth of this situation. I'm watching videos where there's Zionism. I watch Zionism debates. I watch Epstein coverage. I watch all types of things. I'm trying to put the pieces together to figure out whether Trump is hiding his own misdeeds. Is he covering for the deep state because he's trying to cut a deal with them? This is a lot of this is hearsay, and it could be, right? It could be. All right. But to watch the information, to take in the information and be able to chew up the meat and spit out the bones. Right. And again, there are some people who are Trump cultists. Right. I voted for Trump. But there are some people who have said that if we question anything that that Trump does, we're no longer his supporters. Well, that's cult behavior. That's the same type of behavior that you get from the Zionists. If we question anything that Israel does, then we're not their supporters. It's the same playbook of the leftist cults. If you disagree with any portion of the leftist orthodoxy, you are ostracized. They are all using the same playbook, and it makes it harder for people who actually want to discover the truth to do the work of researching. So if I can't watch CNN, well, if CNN presents something that's true, I want to know it. If Fox News presents something that's true, I want to know it. If something comes from the left that's true, I want to know it. If it's someone from the Trump cultists, I want to know it. I don't care if truth comes from an unsuspecting place. I want to know the truth. So that means I have to be willing to listen to all different streams, right? And I have to figure out, oh, is this something good? Nah, seems like hearsay. But I'm going to play the interview and we can have a discussion about it. Now, if you say, well, you're playing something from CNN, that automatically makes it bad, then you are committing a logical fallacy. You have shut off the possibility of truth coming from a location that you don't, right? It's a genetic fallacy, essentially. And so you can have a more skeptical view of it coming from CNN, but to dismiss it out of hand because of the network that it came from, then that's on you. I'm going to listen and I'm going to decipher this and try to figure out whether or not it is true. But if enough information starts to come out between connections, with the connections between Epstein and Trump, and then we start to see, well, maybe where there's smoke, there's fire. Why is he all of a sudden saying, well, there's no files here? Or maybe he's told Pam Bondi to release any credible information. So we're waiting, right? Waiting to see. Yeah. And I'm no fan of CNN. I don't watch television. So I don't watch Fox News either. I don't have time to do that. Between all of the things that I'm doing every day, I don't have time to do all of that. But let's keep listening in. Now, and I'm definitely not on the believe all women train. With what happened in the Me Too movement and all of the other wicked things that came out of that, women are now complaining that men don't approach them. Well, yeah, when you tell men that approaching them is toxic masculinity, then men are going to retreat because the juice isn't worth the squeeze. If I approach you, that's SA now, right? If I approach you, then I'm a creep. Then I can't keep my job if I approach you the wrong way. Oh, we hook up. And then all of a sudden, the next day, you feel bad about it. So you run a smear campaign to get me fired from my job and post, men are going to react to that and stay within their silos. So I get it. To every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So I don't believe this woman just because she said these things. All right. But we need to be able to listen and put the pieces together. Now, people are asking why this information wasn't released under the Biden administration. I don't know. I have my suspicions that if the things that Hunter Biden it's been proven that Hunter Biden partook in, and Joe gave him a full pardon. Well, it would stand to reason that he wouldn't want that information out because it's probably a pretty high probability that Hunter's in the files. Who knows, right? This is all. So again, this is the George Carlin quote, is that it's one big club and we're not in it. So that's right. That's where I am. I don't trust any of these people. Right now, I haven't been able to verify this, but I haven't seen any community notes on it yet. But this is the the page from Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday book, put together by Ghislaine and starring Donald Trump. Okay, so I don't know. I'm looking to see if this is real, but these are all pieces of information that we're trying to figure out. Yeah, so some people are saying it's fake. It appears to be genuine. People are saying that it is from a 20. Right. We have to start asking the questions, and we're almost to 11,000 guys. Thank you so much to everybody that is making this happen. Right. I don't know if we're really closing in. We got to 10,000 last week and crossed 10,000 last week. We're well on our way to 11,000. That's all because you all keep coming in and supporting the channel. I appreciate you all. Thank you to everybody. All right. So if you could like the video on the way in, got 11,000 watching and 54 likes. All right. Yes. 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 So, I mean, people don't like the fact that you can actually seek out truth and not be a slave to either side. Right. So that seems to be a problem. If I should be able to call out MAGA. I should be able to call out the left. If MAGA continues to, because my allegiance isn't to either one of them. My ultimate allegiance, if you all know, I am a Christian. My ultimate allegiance is to Jesus Christ, and I'm a part of his church. I'm not interested in identifying myself as any of these transient labels, right? So, yeah, and unfortunately, people who have completely given themselves over to one or the other, it doesn't matter if you can find truth in either side. They're like, well, you either gonna be left or right. It's like, well, that's a bifurcation. That's a logical fallacy. I can just be, a straight shooter and try to call out the best. I've been praising Trump for his immigration policies, for the economy, for sealing off the border, all of these other things, right? And I'm going to continue to praise him for that, right? His executive orders early on that declared two genders. I didn't like the strike on Iran, but it seems like we're not going to be getting into a prolonged conflict. So but this is a clear cover up. And it needs to be exposed. It needs to be discussed. We can't let it be swept away. Right? My allegiance goes outward, right? Self, wife and kids, family, church, city, a neighborhood, city, state, region, nation. Okay? Those are my allegiances. I'm not a globalist. I really want America to thrive and survive. And I think that in so doing, one of the things that my church has been very, very instrumental in is missions work and feeding the hungry and clothing the naked and helping the poor. And we do that here locally. We're doing it in multiple different, I have a brochure right here that we were given this week at church where we can donate to an outreach that's helping multiple families across multiple continents and countries, right? And my family is donating Africa, Asia, Caribbean, Mexico, Central America, South America, and we're donating to this cause. We have ministers come in constantly to help us to do that, right? And they're actually involved in doing that, but they're actually hands-on involved in doing that. And so we help the world through our American prosperity, but it isn't the government funneling that money to its interest. We get to know the people that we're helping. And so I don't want our tax dollars going to help fund the Israeli military. I don't want it going to fund LGBTQ plays in Ghana. I don't want any I don't want any of that stuff. I am America first because I believe that American prosperity, when it is done well under the rubric of its Christian foundation, has helped the nations and helped to make the world a better place, right? And so I want that paradigm to come back. I don't want 35% of my money going to the government and then the government deciding what it wants to fund, whether I like it or not, whether it aligns with my views and values or not. I think that's where most Christians would like to see a change, right? But let's keep talking about this. We got some more stuff, right? Yes. Yeah. And let me ask you also, those of you who think that we voted for Trump and now we're culpable for what's happening now. Those of you that voted for Biden, were you culpable for Laken Riley and all of the atrocities that happened through their open border policy? I'm asking you. Yeah. All right. I'm asking you. Were you responsible for Laken Riley? I'm just asking. Yeah. You don't like when people call out their inconsistency. So this is Stacey Williams, right? Repeating that same, but it's
I'm
just much shorter.
considered number 27. I'm Donald Trump's 27th sexual assault victim. When I was doing Sports Illustrated, that's when he assaulted me. Jeffrey Epstein walked me into his office to be sexually assaulted by him.
So she's telling the same story consistently, right? And then people are saying that they were very, very close. I know people are hating the fact that these are CNN clips and this is from, I guess, liberal perspectives. I know. But this is a full, I'm not going to play this entire video because it's 9 minutes long, right? But, yeah. All right. And we know, people aren't going to want to deal with the fact that the flood of the illegal immigration that happened under the Biden presidency, right? Because they've shut off their ability to think clearly about it. Kamala Harris was the border czar. The border was a complete disaster. We know that border crossings are completely almost at a standstill. We don't even see that many encounters now that Trump has done what the Biden administration was unwilling to do. And they were unwilling to do it. Well, it was a plan, right? They obviously had a plan to increase their influence and to increase their electoral votes by flooding the states with illegal immigrants so that the numbers in the census would favor them. I mean, we see it. It's a play, right? It's a play. And they did a great job of, they're not inept, right? They're not inept. They were not, the Biden administration was not inept. They were purposeful, right? And it's amazing to me, right, that black people continue to support them, right? Because it's not like we weren't warned, okay? It's not like we weren't warned about, let me see this. Hold on one second. Let's do this. We're gonna take a commercial break real quick, right? Here's a commercial break. Hold on one second. It's a commercial break. Well, right before we do it, we're going to get to your super chat. I want to take this commercial break, though. It's just a short commercial break.
Of the Negro.
Right, here we go. Hold on one second. I went too far. I tapped the wrong button. Hold on. Let's start back over. Here's the commercial break.
There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox. And a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to. But the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling.
I think there are many whites who act friendly toward Negroes. A fox acts friendly toward the lamb. And usually the fox is the one who ends up with the lamb chop on his plate. The wolf doesn't act friendly, and therefore the wolf has more difficulty in getting the lamb chop in his plate.
I'd like to point out, though, that...
I say that because it is usually if you study the structure of the Negro community, economically, politically, civically, psychologically, and otherwise, it's controlled by the white liberal, who usually poses as the friend of the Negro.
They're going to put you all back in chains.
And that's their tactic, the fear tactic, right? Okay, so they make you afraid of the conservative. Oh, watch out! I'll keep my eye out for the wolf, right? You just take a nap, right? You just take a nap. Don't worry about it, right? And then you wake up on the plate, or if you wake up, okay? Yes, he was, right? Yes, he was. He was very brilliant. He had some very, and that's one of the reasons why they had to get rid of him. Because, yeah, he saw through that nonsense, right? Now let me get to that super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Gordy Bro says, I don't care how much it upsets the world. Release the full unedited Epstein document. Give them all a chance to repent and send them up to God. Right? He's like, don't even give him. He's right. Hey, they need to meet the maker, huh? I'm not gonna say I disagree with that. I don't. I ride with that statement. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Yes. So, and look, the cool thing about this stream, guys, this is amazing. Okay, it's amazing that I've got both liberals hating what I'm saying and like hardcore Trump cultist, because there's a difference between America First and Trump cultist. Okay, so I'm grateful for that, right? That y'all got that I'm getting both people to like, I can't stand what you're saying, right? It's like, well, it's probably because I'm trying to find the truth, and it may not fit with your chosen narrative. If Trump is in those files, I have no problem with him being taken down. If he's covering up for people in the files, I have a problem with him doing that too. I can call. See, this is the thing. That's the difference. This should be the difference between America First people and the Trump cultists and the leftist, socialist, Marxist ideologists, ideologues and their cult. We should be able to call out both sides. Because if what they're doing isn't America First, if we don't deem that it's America First, we should be able to say, well, no, this is. So with the left, America First people looking at the left are saying, you all want to change this country fundamentally into something that it isn't. You will not question the left. To those who look at us and say, or on the right, who say, you all aren't riding with every word that comes out of Trump's mouth, so you're no longer his supporters. You have you have lost your credibility among the MAGA movement because you will not bow the knee to Trump. Okay, that's cult behavior. We should be able to question Trump. We should, just like we questioned Biden, just like we questioned Kamala, just like we questioned Obama, Bush, whoever. We the people. It doesn't say we the cultists. It doesn't say we the worshipers of government. We the people. Have we lost our ever-loving minds? Is this now? Trump may be doing a great job, but if he's wrong here, we should call him out on it. He is not above reproach. He can be called out. So you have to. So if we can't do that, then you're in a cult. If you can't call out the leaders, then you're in a cult. There's only one perfect human being that ever walked this earth. And even he was questioned, but he always had an answer. So if we can, if people questioned the God man while he walked the earth, how come we can't question Trump? The Pharisees and the leaders and the Sadducees, they questioned Jesus. You telling me that Trump is greater than Jesus? That he can't be questioned? You have a perfect, blameless man walking the earth who never sinned, but he got questioned, but Trump can't get questioned. Well, if you can't question him, I mean, that's your God. That's your God. Then you worship him. You worship him. That's it. Yeah. I mean, you worship him. I mean, it's fine. Just admit that you worship him, though. Huh? Just admit it. All right. And so, look, we're not, I'm not saying that this is some sort of referendum on, because Trump did a great, well, this is not administration. I clicked the wrong thing. Oh, well, this is supposed to be something else. But that was supposed to be something else. It was supposed to be Trump Epstein cover up. That's what we were talking about. I'm sorry, y'all. I put the wrong thing up there. But anyway. All right. So listen in. This is one of the great things that Trump did, was highlighting the Biden cover up.
Walk out of a store and he's walking with an ice cream. And the question the media asks him, what kind of ice cream? What flavor ice cream do you have? And he's in the midst of a scandal.
He's not.
And he's taking...
He's
of course
not.
he is,
No,
Leslie.
come on.
Of course he is. It's the biggest, second biggest scandal.
So,
the biggest scandal was when they spied on my campaign. They spied on my
well,
campaign,
there's
Leslie.
no real evidence of that.
Of course there is.
No.
It's all over the place. Leslie,
Sir,
they spied on my campaign and they got caught.
Can I say something? You know, this is 60 Minutes, and we can't put on things we can't verify.
You won't put it on because it's bad for Biden.
We can't put on things we can't verify.
Leslie, they spied on my campaign.
Well, we can't verify
It's been totally
that.
verified.
No.
It's been, just go down and get the papers. They spied on my campaign, they got caught.
No.
And then they went much further than that, and they got caught. And you will see that, Leslie, and you know that, but you just don't want to put it on the air.
As a matter of fact, I don't know.
And Trump was absolutely right. Now we've got the Barack, right? The Biden cover up. And then now we got Barack Benedict Obama, right? That's what we found out. So Trump is doing some really great things. Again, exposing this shadow government and how a sitting president used intelligence to spy on the president-elect, or to fabricate a Russia hoax. This is the reason why we voted for him. Well, I didn't vote for him in 2016, but this is the reason why people voted for him in 2016, was because he promised to drain the swamp. He wanted to go into Washington and get rid of the deep state. Now, how much of this has he actually done? That's a really great question. I don't know. Thank you to everybody that's tuning in. If you could like the video on the way in. Oh man, but we've still got some more stuff to talk about. We still, how much is it? We got 30 minutes left. Let's see. I got to do a better job of this. How long have we been going? All right, we got 30 minutes left. Okay. Yes. So we talked about the Epstein list, but let's get to let's talk about this, because this always gets it fun. This is fun. I'm going to post this. Let me do this. I'm going to change this topic a little bit. Change it up real quick. We're going to talk about this. But I saw this. This was interesting. This showed up in my feed. Now, when y'all hear this, this is from the recently elected Pope, a selected Pope. Hey, we just passed 11,000. Thank you to everybody. We're on 11,000. Thank you to everybody that has been liking and subscribing. We are taking this thing to the stratosphere. I appreciate it. Now, listen to this. Listen to this comment by Pope Leo. I just want y'all to see. We went right back down, but that's okay. We'll get back over it. All right. Listen to this. And I want you to see what one of the responses was. Okay. Tragic news continues to arrive in these days from the Middle East, especially from Gaza. I express my profound sadness regarding last Thursday's attack by the Israeli army on the Catholic parish of the Holy Family in Gaza City, which, as you know, killed 3 Christians and gravely wounded others. I pray for the victims. Saad Isa Kostandi Salema. I'm going to say, let me read them over. Fumia Isa Latif Ayad, Najwa Ibrahim Latif Abu Daoud, and I am particularly close to their families and to all the parishioners. Okay, now, I want y'all to see the response that someone gave to the Pope Leo's pretty innocuous tweet here. This person translated that as anti-Semitism. And another anti-Semitic pope. What about what Pope Leo said? What about what he said was anti-Semitic? Was it because he named the Israeli army? It was the Israeli army that did it. I don't. This is why you're getting so much pushback on Zionist believers or Zionist adherents, because nothing but adoration, praise, and essentially worship of the nation state of Israel will be tolerated. Right? I don't know. Am I still broadcasting? Someone's asking. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just making sure. Like, make sure. Yeah, still broadcasting. All right. So, what about what he said was anti-Semitic? So when you have these adherents to Zionism openly reinterpreting simple posts about true realities, right? Just the Israeli army bombed the church and 3 Christians died. The Pope is addressing that reality. To address that reality apparently is anti-Semitic. This is why people don't want. This is why they're pushing back against the Zionist narrative. This is why Zionists are losing in the culture. Thankfully, that more people are starting to see the wickedness of that theological strain in Christianity and saying enough is enough. Enough is enough. So we start to see, well, what? Oh no. My wife just sent me a text saying that Malcolm Jamal Warner died, not Theo. Wow, at 54. Wow. Well. I mean, obviously, I grew up watching The Cosby Show. Wow. I wonder what the cause of death was. 54. Oh, he died in a drowning accident. Wow. Well, yeah, man. Wow. Whew. Yeah, but let's see. So we've got we've got a lot of stuff to discuss. I mean, I'm not gonna, that wasn't a part of my rundown, but when your wife texts you, yes, we got yep. So we got I let it sit up there. Yes, there you go. That's the super chat, right? Hey, I mean, you're gonna, if you want to spend the money to send that, then I'm not gonna turn down the $1.99. Okay, if you say so. Wow. All right. So, yeah. Now, we're still talking about Zionism. Now let's see what this one's interesting. Okay. And thank you to everybody that's tuning in. I can't see every comment. I appreciate you though. I appreciate everybody tuning in. There have been 1,000 comments. I definitely can't see every one of them because if I just watch the comments, I wouldn't be able to run the show. But I do see some I don't see, some I see and can't address. But yes. All right. So I'm trying to get through all of my entire rundown before it's time to leave the house. So Tucker Carlson calls to revoke citizenship of Americans who served in the Israeli or the Ukrainian military. That's an intro. What's going on, brother Chuck? Now, when I see long-term, hola, mi hermano, ¿cómo estás? Yes, but unfortunately, the idea. So, what are we supposed to do with this? Now, I am for revoking citizenship. But I don't know if this would be the reason why I would revoke it. I have no idea. Yeah. So I don't know if that would be the reason. There are a lot of reasons. Now this, I like this idea. I like this idea. This Smash Baal says a serious country would send them both back. They would not be able to openly campaign or hold office in a country that was serious about maintaining its cultural heritage. And at this point, America doesn't seem to be serious about maintaining its cultural heritage. We've come to believe the globalist lies that every culture is equal. They're not equal. There are some cultures that are better than others. There are cultures that espouse more virtue than others. So you're not going to get me to believe that the culture that produced Omar Fateh and his line is somehow worth preserving here in America. Y'all are here largely because you didn't want to be in that country. You came to this country as refugees. Why? So don't bring that culture to this country. I know that sounds blasphemous to globalists, but there's no real reason why we should believe that the Somali culture should be transplanted here to Minnesota. It's not a good thing. And then you have men like this who want to, who want to play the role and bow the knee. Right after the George Floyd thing, you had white people bowing the knee to black people and apologizing for oppression and all this. I'm like, man, it couldn't be me. I wasn't going to do it. I wouldn't do it if I were you. And they still didn't give him the endorsement. He bent the knee and still. And look what your sanctuary city is going to become. This is going to be insane to watch what happens if he wins. If Omar Fateh wins, Minneapolis is already on the downward spiral. If you heard his policies and what he's going to try to do, and that his interests are Somali first, that all Somalis connected, whether in the homeland, he says, or our home here or our home, well, they're going to try to enrich. This is their mindset. And they're coming to America with this mindset and running for office here. Now, I'm all for revoking citizenship for people like that. Ilhan Omar Fateh. If you don't want to be American, why are you here? Like, that's the question. It really is the crux of the matter. My great grandfather, I mentioned multiple times, was a slave. He was granted citizenship during emancipation, right? And so I've been here. My family's been here for generations. Been a part of American culture. We've raised multiple generations here. I know nothing of West Africa. I have DNA from multiple different countries in my blood. I don't understand, but I'm an American. I'm not a African American. Don't know. I've never been. Like, Elon Musk is more African American than I am. I'm not. Where? I'm not. So he and I don't have anything in common with him. I don't have any allegiance to any country but this one. I'm not interested in enriching through taxation and funneling of money over to or working and milking the system here in America and then sending it back to another country. Right? Right? People say, "Oh, you want to be white." If not wanting to claim, how can I claim a country that I've never been a part of? It makes absolutely no sense. I've been here the entirety of my life, and I want to claim something that I'm not. I'm an American. Whatever ethnicity you want to attach to that, I was born here. I've lived here my entire life. I plan on dying here. I'm doing everything I can to make this place a better place so that my children can continue to flourish here because I'm an American. Now, I already know.
And you ain't black.
That I ain't black because Joe already told me. Joe owns black people, right? Joe believes he is your master. Yes, he believes that. And apparently, black people believe it too, because by me not submitting to the liberal logic, that I'm not black, and I'm fine with that. Ideologically, I'm fine with not being black. If me wanting America to succeed and being America first and not claiming any allegiance to any African nation that I know nothing about, then sign me up for not being black. Sign me up for it. I don't know. So I'm just like, guys, we got to start pushing back on this. Now, this is something that, let's look at this. We talked about this. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going with this. We're still talking about Christian Zionism. Now, she's not specifically Christian, but let's listen into old AOC. She's on the Zionist train, apparently. Let's listen in.
You don't know about Puerto Rico, and one of the things that we discovered about ourselves is that a very, very long time ago, generations and generations ago, my family consisted of Sephardic Jews. You know, the story goes is during the Spanish Inquisition, so many people were forced to convert on the exterior to Catholicism, but on the interior continued to practice their faith, continued to be who they were, even though they were pressured to not be that on the outside world. And a strong group of people, strong-willed, that were determined to continue living life as they wanted to live it, decided to get on a boat and leave Spain. And some of those people landed in Puerto Rico.
All right, so maybe, again, we're starting to see a lot of connections back to this Zionist belief. And if you start asking the questions about why certain people like Ted Cruz and AOC and Tammy Bruce and like, I don't know. We keep seeing these people constantly do everything that they can to support the nation state of Israel. Right? And I'm asking the same question. What's the difference between Ted Cruz, Omar Fateh, Ilhan Omar, Tammy Bruce, if they hold another nation in higher esteem than the one that they currently live in and are willing to use American prosperity to benefit that nation at the expense of America? What's different about them? That's my question. What's the difference between the Zionist and the Islamist, if you want? What's the difference? I don't know. If you can help me to understand why we should, I don't know, guys. I don't know. Thomas Massey, he at least, right? Because this is what we see whenever you say anything. Do you see somebody's coming into the comments right now? If you say anything that isn't completely positive, then this is why it's toxic. And for those that are posting about Romans 11, I'm a preterist, so I don't believe that. I believe that was fulfilled in 70 AD. So I'm not a futurist. Futurist meaning, yeah. All right. So you can't just post a scripture without context and think that shuts down the argument. All right. Now, because I am of the theological persuasion that God divorces Israel when the temple is destroyed in 70 AD. That was the end. Because they killed the Messiah and rejected him. I mean, Jesus was talking about that in the Gospels. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yep. So, right. I mean, and if you read, I don't know. I mean, I don't see the yeah. We're not going to have a much, we're not going to get too deep into the theological weeds of Talmudic Judaism and its practices. But yeah, suffering overdue. I agree. I agree. I agree. Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right. Now, we've got 8, and then if you want to keeping it really authentic about what it's like being a Christian in Israel. I know this is probably going to be in
the community
right
here.
Yeah, well, he's actually, this is,
We get spit on every day. Wearing a cross, you will get spit on in this neighborhood. You will get into fist fights. And
who is spitting on you?
The Jews, of course, the Orthodox Jews. They are raised in their schools how to hate the Christians. This is the country that all the prophets came from. Moses, and we want to live in peace. We don't want to be abused and suffered, and our kids to suffer, because we don't see any future in Jerusalem.
And so this is what Christians are experiencing, and I have multiple videos on that, in Israel, right? While Zionists are worshiping them, they've denounced Jesus, and they're spitting at Christians, Orthodox. I mean, call me crazy, but Jesus' bride, he wants to protect. We are an extension of his work here on earth. We continue his work here on earth. He works through us by the way of the Holy Spirit. But here's the crazy thing. Christians here in America are turning a blind eye to this reality of, how Christians are being treated in Israel. But what if those Christians in Israel denounced this and said that this is ungodly behavior? The Zionists would probably say, you guys are going to be cursed because you're not blessing Israel. What's going on, Brother Derek Franklin? How about that? The most democratic country in the Middle East abuses its non-Orthodox Jewish citizens. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's right. Oh boy. Let's move on because we got a couple more things to cover. Right? And again, the bifurcation is that if I don't support Israel, I support Islamic Jihad. When I've just finished talking about the fact that I don't want Islamic rule here, and I don't want these Somali, Zoran Mamdani, Fateh, whoever else to institute their practices from the nations where they're coming from, where they failed here. I want this nation to be Christ-centered. And again, if we wanted to, America could go to war with all these countries if they want to really get rid of Islamic Jihad. We don't need Israel to do that, to get rid of Islam. They're calling on us to help to fight their battles for them. Are we really doing this right now? Who's funding who? Right? And that's for you. Look, guys, those of you that are atheists, you are well within your right to not support any of us. Thank you. We're not interested in, right? We'll have this fight without you.
And whether or not there's fire, we need to figure it out. But here is what's important. Put the investigation into Trump, his associates, and everybody else to one side. There is no denying that the Russians interfered in the election. Right. Whether or not they had willing or unwitting help from the Trump team. They interfered, and they did so to help him and hurt me. And they did so to destabilize our democracy, and they have not stopped. I mean, there's been enough public testimony before Congress now by very distinguished, experienced intelligence professionals who all say the same thing. This is a clear and present danger to our country. Yeah. And I think it's important, and I would say this, if the roles were reversed, if I had won the Electoral College and I were in the White House and the intelligence services, I've served with them, I've worked with them, I've read their analysis, both on the Senate Armed Services Committee and as Secretary of State. You know, they don't always get it right, but these are patriotic, hardworking, dedicated men and women. And if they had come to me and told me, you know, we believe that this election was interfered with, we believe that it was influenced, and we believe they are still trying to get into our systems, I would have stopped at nothing. I would have stood up and in front of the country said, even if it advantaged me, I am not going to rest until we know exactly what happened and make sure.
All right, so Tulsi has figured out what happened. And it implicated Barack as making up the Russia collusion, the Russia election interference. Yes, I am psyched. I am a very huge fan of Thomas Sowell. I have multiple of his books back there and then got some of his audiobooks. Yes, absolutely. And thank you, Minxie Minx. I appreciate you're in the comments doing your thing. Okay. All right. So, yeah, now this is unfortunate. Because now that she says this, we have this clip, we have this clip here where Barack Obama.
They believe that no one, especially the president, is above the law.
Well, let's hear this again. Wait.
They believe that no one, especially the president, is above the law.
All right. So Barack has said that no one, especially the president, and I think he was obviously talking about Biden and Harris right there. Because, Trump was accused of all of these misdeeds, right? And they wanted to get him sent away. Now, Barack, the law is aimed at you. Do you still believe that no one, not even the president of the United States, is above the law? I don't know, Barack. Maybe in time we'll see where you stand on that, just in case they come after you. I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying. And like I said, where he's going, y'all remember recently he said that all men should have a gay friend or gay friends to help them to navigate compassion. Well, where he's going, might be able to put that to the test. Oh, Barack Obama, right? He's asking you the question.
Why are you gay?
You'll be asking. They might be asking him. So, now, in the interest of fairness, right? We've been talking a lot about Zionism and Trump and everything. But we didn't do it. Let's look at this. I'm going to have to leave this one for later. I'm going to have to leave this for later. Yeah, because we're past time. Man, we had like 4 to 5 other clips, but we are at past time. So I'm going to have to stop it here, and maybe we will pick up some of this other stuff on tomorrow's show. All right. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. I appreciate you for rolling with me for an hour and 20 minutes. Yes, we started a little bit late because I had, work stuff called. All right. Anyway, see you all around. And until next time, be on the alert, stand firm in the faith, act like men, be strong. See you all around. Bye.